And welcome to Beerfield Fantasy Football Shots. I am your host for Tuesday, November 21st at Hot BFF, Christopher Hopper. We're at the news. We're here to talk some waiver wires tonight. Nick and Dan are off in St. Louis, so I've got this one, but I always have this one, so that didn't really make a bit of a difference. You can follow me on Twitter at HotBFF with 2 Ps. You can follow the show, Beerfield Fantasy Football, on Twitter at BeerfieldFF. Podcast links are in the description section. I almost said comments, but they're not in the comments. They're in the description. It's to watch or listen to us talk about stuff a lot more in depth. And it's a lot less awkward because there's 3 of us talking, not just me trying to make conversation with myself. As much as I love myself, sometimes that's not easy to do. Anyway, let's get into the news. In Denver, they've named Paxton Lynch the starter for Week 12 against the Raiders. The exciting part about this is the last quarterback to fail before the rise of Chad AK-47 Kelly inevitably happens next season. So, Paxton Lynch, get out of the way. Let's find out that you're not the answer. Let's get the real quarterback of the future in there. The Raiders have fired their defensive coordinator and hired John Pagano, formerly of the Chargers. Typically what happens when your defense underperforms. He's a scapegoat. Guy took the fall. Andre Ellington has been claimed by the Texans. This will be an immediate help to them. Don't expect a lot this week, but the next week or two, probably right as the playoffs start, he should see himself have a little bit of role as a pass catcher. Seahawks running back Mike Davis is unlikely to play Week 12. He hurt his groin, just like Eddie Lacy. Thomas Rawls can't stay healthy. J.D. McKissick actually looks somewhat efficient. Probably the guy to own there. More on him later. Juju Smith-Schuster has a small hamstring problem, so if anybody's got larger hamstrings, give them to Juju, but really he should be fine. Case Keenum has been confirmed as the Vikings starter on Thursday. Not that that's a huge surprise there. Until he screws up, he is going to be the starter. Wide receiver Robert Woods to miss a couple weeks with a shoulder injury. This is a big blow to the Rams. It does help Sammy Watkins out. Probably a little bit of help to Cooper Kupp too. He's already getting decent target volume. I think this helps Watkins a little bit more though. The 49ers are refusing to name a Week 12 starting quarterback between Jimmy Garoppolo and C.J. Beathard. Most people think it's going to be Garoppolo, but we will see. The Seahawks have cut defensive end Dwight Freeney at 3 sacks in 4 games, so he's likely to catch on someplace. Sterling Shepard is still dealing with migraines for the Giants. He went from a partial participant in practice Monday to a did not participate today. Percy Harvin syndrome. Redskins have lost Sean Laveau for the rest of the season. This is one of their interior linemen. I believe it's a right guard. Wasn't exactly performing great, but their injury was just continue to mount up. And speaking of injuries, Terrell Pryor has officially been placed on IR. He's done for the year and probably done in Washington. On to waivers. So we're going to go through each position group real quick here. I'll name a couple people that sure would be out there on waivers that you should probably be looking to pick up. For the full rundown, you can listen to Monday's episode. It gets to you a little bit quicker that way. But let's go ahead and hit this one off. At quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, Case Keenum. Tyrod Taylor came in, gave yourself more points than Nathan Peterman did in a half of football. He's been a solid back in QB1 again this year. Case Keenum, it's been about 5 weeks since he gave you a bad game, and he's got another plus matchup this week, so not a bad pickup either if you're in the need for a quarterback help. At running back, Samaje Perine is the last man standing in Washington. He looked good against the Saints defense that had been good against the run. Looks like he's figuring this thing out. Devontae Booker in Denver. They have a new offensive coordinator who will split up running back carries. Running back clear carries, though, already pretty split up, but Devontae Booker has been the most effective one, so the hope with him would be that he takes a stranglehold on this job at a really opportune time. J.D. McKissick, same thing, except for instead of splitting carries with running backs, nobody in Seattle can stay healthy. He is also the last man standing and their most efficient performer. And Corey Clement continues to get a pretty even shake in Philadelphia, going for another touchdown. He's been serviceable most of the season. At wide receiver, Josh Doxson, he's had 7 targets and 4 receptions each of the last 2 weeks. So he's looking to finally break out, but when it happens, you need to own him. So he should be owned. And Corey Coleman coming off IR looked adequate against the Jaguars. So that's definitely a huge thing for them. He is by far and away their best wide receiver, at least until Josh Gordon is back. At tight end, Adam Shaheen for the Bears, especially if Deion Lewis is still out. He was, I think, 4 for 40 and a touchdown. So Trubisky uses his tight end. There's not a whole lot out there, though, in the way of tight ends on the waiver wire, but he's one to watch and own if you're in desperate need for one of those. And defense pickup this week, you got New England, who's giving you a floor of at least 6 points pretty much every week since week 3. You've got Miami, who's going up against Tampa Bay at home. Tampa Bay's offense has really been struggling. Miami's been another middle-of-the-road defense all season. And Washington, the Redskins have the Giants on the road. Giants have also been struggling this season, and the Redskins have okay corners and a pretty good pass defense. It's another floor play. That's all I got for you today. Dan will be back with you tomorrow to talk something. I think it's start sets. Anyway, he'll be with you tomorrow. We'll be driving a podcast tomorrow. It'll be just me and Dan flying solo. Monday's podcast, links are in the description. I will catch you guys tomorrow on the pod. See ya.